Gotta start the video off hitting that G-spot, right lads? Welcome everyone to another video. Today we're talking about what, quite honestly, I believe will be the best concert I will ever see in my entire life. Long Live the Black Parade from My Chemical Romance. If we remember, way back in 2016 when the Black Parade turned 10, they were teasing this grand drop of something that's gonna be, they're gonna release something. And it was that fucking cover album that everybody hated. No, I didn't like it. I'm not saying all the songs were bad on the cover album, but when you tease a dedicated fan base for a 10-year anniversary and you get a cover album, you're a little disappointed. This was not that scenario. Now, the Black Parade does turn 20 next year, so I assume this would have to be some sort of 20th celebration, which a lot of bands are doing these days. And seeing the Black Parade live in its entirety is an experience that I don't think can ever be reached. Like, this is kind of like the peak of concerts that I've ever seen. Not just from the music itself and what the Black Parade means to me, but also from the theatrics that we'll get into as we get deeper into the video. Now, obviously, I'm going to have a lot to say as we go through the Black Parade in its entirety, and then, of course, the My Chemical Romance stuff at the end. But I do just want to get out of the way, since I do want to be fair, before I start getting into anything involving My Chemical Romance, let's take a quick talk about the opener for the show I was at, Alice Cooper. To be honest, I really wasn't expecting that much fun out of an Alice Cooper show. I've never seen Alice Cooper before. I understand his importance. I understand his contribution to theatrics and that goth kind of vibe, and not like emo goth, like gothic Victorian, you know, with like the Frankenstein monster and all that fun, the spooky stuff. But I gotta say, I was really, really surprised with how fun Alice Cooper was. Sounded really, really great. The effects were really, really fun. Of course, practical effects are always the best. And we just got to go ahead and talk about that execution scene. Yeah, that woman that cut off his head, that was his wife. Of course, going in, the only big songs that I knew from Alice Cooper were, of course, No More Mr. Nice Guy and School's Out. Both very, very, very good songs, but I feel like they don't encapsulate, like, the real vibe of what Alice Cooper is, and like the kind of spooky, skeleton, scary kind of music. Not scary, but spooky, you know, gothic spooky. And it was a lot of fun. It was just a lot of fun. The dude had great energy. The bandmates were a lot of fun. It was cool to see the different special effects that were coming out and the visuals of the different songs that were coming. And I actually knew a lot more songs. So hats off to you, Alice Cooper. You gave one hell of an opener. If I ever get the chance to see Alice Cooper as a headliner, I think I would really, really like to. I know he's kind of getting up there in age, so I don't know how long he plans to be touring, but I think it's certainly worth your time. really make sense to me that Alice Cooper would be the opener, because other venues have gotten like Death Cab for Cutie or 100 Gex as an example, you know, more like modern bands. So the vibe is kind of all over the place for the Black Parade. Like, I know that Devo is the headliner for one, and then I think it's either Paramore or Evanescence is the one for another show, and I'm just like, oh. But after seeing the whole picture, I kind of think the vibe actually fit. That kind of old, gothic, classical style, kind of mixing well into the more modern emo music. I think it kind of meshed well, honestly. And like the level of theatrics that Alice Cooper performed was going to match what we're going to talk about in the Black Parade as well. I just wanted to go ahead and give Alice Cooper their due. Let's go ahead and let's talk about the Black Parade. A couple of things to know about the Black Parade if you are planning to go ahead and see the show. This show has lore. I know, it sounds crazy. So essentially, this show is broken up into two segments. The first segment is the Black Parade, but it's not performed by My Chemical Romance. It's performed by a band called The Black Parade. Now, in the lore of My Chemical Romance, the Black Parade is a band that had died out in Mexico. And for this, they have been resurrected to perform the Black Parade, but there's a sinister twist to it. They are either from or within the country of Drag, that has this dictator. And you've seen the dictator within the promotional videos and material and things like that. But what's interesting is that each show actually kind of tells its own story as the tour progresses. So as an example, in the very beginning of the tour, the dictator did not show up, like at all. Then in the second show of the tour, he was like a cardboard cutout. And now, as we're getting deeper, he's showing as like a full person. So essentially, and what you'll notice too, like the makeup, if you look at the makeup comparatively for each of the members of My Chemical Romance, they get more and more like disheveled and beat up and skeletal as the dictator seems to grow stronger in power. And it's this really haunting, like, ooh, isn't that a fun little bit of storytelling? Which I wouldn't expect anything less from Gerard Way. With that additional context, it's pretty haunting. Still fun, don't get me wrong. This is a very, very fun show, but it is pretty haunting. I do want to say before we get any deeper that there is going to be a couple of scenes that are going to be pretty gruesome. So like, you know, we talked about like public execution, there's going to be blood, suicide bombs, nukes, things like that. So it is just something to be aware of, that some of this material may not be appropriate for our younger viewers. I just want to go ahead and make that clear. Let's get right into it. So before the show even starts, there were a bunch of rules that were posted in whatever language is spoken in Drag. It's supposed to be like an Eastern European, Russian kind of comparison, but there's no translatable language, although people online have already gone ahead and made an alphabet for the language of Drag, so that's kind of cool. And if the show starts off and the dictator comes out and he sits in this big ivory chair, and there's the singer that comes out and they perform the Drag national anthem, which I will go ahead and show here. Now, before the show actually started, on the screens, there was a bunch of like, it looks like people had like X's over their faces, and I assume it was the people that were like traitors to the state or executed. And then there were a bunch of like nonsense rules, like rules that make absolutely no freaking sense. And some were even within the language itself, so you couldn't read it in English, and some didn't translate, but it was just kind of a little bit of a flavor thing, if you will. So the show formally begins. And the first song that, of course, we're going to talk about with Welcome to the Black Parade is The End.
Come on to this tragic affair. wipe off makeup, what's in his despair. So throw on the black dress, mix in with the light, you might wake up and know.
Going ahead and having an introductory song to your album is going to be very, very important. And I think The End might be the strongest, or one of the strongest. Of course, I've never listened to every album ever. But as far as introductions, it's haunting. You know, the Black Parade as an album is one that talks about death in various ways. And you can interpret it any way you want, but that's always kind of what it's meant to me. But The End is the end. And it kind of sets the mood, not just for the album, but for the show that is going to be coming as well. One thing that I really, really like about The End is that it leads directly into Dead.
And if your heart starts beating, I'll be here watching when you get what you deserve. The end of
One thing I love about Dead 2 is that Dead was a song for the 360 version of Guitar Hero 2, and I just think that's a neat piece of little trivia. The way that I've always interpreted The End and Dead is kind of like one song together, you know, because they lead into each other. The End to me is like someone on their deathbed, you know, they are dying, the end is coming, and Dead, in a kind of dark comic way, at least the way I've interpreted it, is like the person that died was kind of a piece of shit and you're glad that you're dead. You know, some of the lines within the song Dead are, no one ever had much nice to say, oh, people never liked you anyway, you're dead. So it's kind of like this celebration that someone is dead. Now, I understand that there could be ethical concerns of that kind of thinking. You know, some people say all life is precious. Some people say other people deserve to die. I'm not saying either. I'm just, you know, kind of giving my interpretation of the song. But I think we can all agree that Dead fucking slaps.
It's so nice to meet you today. Thank you so much for coming out. If you would be so kind, all of you, to make a nice round of applause for the man responsible for bringing us out here under conditions of the boat in the Ministry of Complementary Reconditioning. Please, a round of applause for his grand immortal dictator. The handsomest man I know, and they don't just have a gun to my head. Beautiful.
So after Dead, this of course will go ahead and bring us then into How I Disappear. Hot take. I think How I Disappear is my least favorite song on the Black Parade. I know. I think a lot of people might say their least favorite songs could be Mama or Sleep. I could totally understand for both why that would be, but I don't know. I never really had that much of a connection with How I Disappear. It was some of the other songs within the album that really meant a lot more to me. So I just never really had that much of a connection for it. But that doesn't mean I don't know all the fucking words, and it also doesn't mean that I didn't sing along with it as it was going through, because again, what a freaking banger. Next song that we have in the Black Parade is The Sharpest Lives. The Sharpest Lives is a song that I liked when I was younger, but as I kind of grew into an adult, I kind of got it a little bit more. You know, the song to me is about being on a bender and just going absolutely butt fucking sane as you're drinking yourself to death, as, you know, a lot of rock stars, including My Chemical Romance, have struggled with in the past. And I really, really like this song. It's kind of creepy, and it's got that, like, spooky element to it. You know, there's a place in the dark where the animals go. You can take off your skin in the cannibal glow. Juliet loves to beat in the lusty commands. Drop the dagger and laugh at the blood on your hands, Romeo. Oh, it's like Shakespeare. I really, really like that song. It's very entertaining, very, very fun, and kind of gets us ready for the perfection that is coming next.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city.
Now, what can I say about Welcome to the Black Parade? Welcome to the Black Parade, in my honest and most humble opinion, I think is the perfect song to describe my generation. I think that every generation has one song from one artist that is an encapsulation of some of the troubles that generation have, some of their ways of thinking. It's a complex thing, and it's certainly not something to go ahead and take lightly. I think to a certain point, someone may say the song "Jesus of Suburbia" might be the song of our generation, but Green Day's not really as young as My Chemical Romance. But I think that in that similar vein, that could apply. But to me, Welcome to the Black Parade is the song that defines our generation. Welcome to the Black Parade is a perfect song, and that's, I say that a lot with MCR, so call me biased, but I do genuinely believe that Welcome to the Black Parade is perfect. From the start, with the opening of "When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city," and then when it goes through, it's beautiful. When the sad stuff kind of stops and it ramps up. Sometimes I get the feeling she's watching over me, and other times I feel like I should go. And then the part at the end where "we'll carry on." I want to point out too, there's throughout the entirety of every clip that I'm going to show, it's just people screaming and singing and crying. It's so much fun. And it's kind of overshadowed by how dark the material is for this whole drog thing that MCR is doing. But I want to point out that there was so much fun and so much love. I mean, I myself, I lost my voice by the time I think cancer came around. I think that's about when my voice started to go, just screaming, "Carry on, we'll carry on." And I think what makes Welcome to the Black Parade so perfect is that final message of "we'll carry on." Shit be dark these days, and shit's always been rough. I don't want to pretend that any time period in history has been better than another necessarily. Each time period has its own trials and tribulations and troubles and dictators and all kinds of crazy shit that happens. But with Welcome to the Black Parade, it's just something so beautiful about, though you're dead and gone, your memory will carry on. And I don't know, it just hits me right here. I've lost people, to death. I've had people my age when I was 22, 23 die, and it's horrific. I understand that death is a concept that affects all of us. One day we're all going to be gone. But I didn't never really hit that hard before until someone my age had passed away, and it kind of struck a chord with me what Welcome to the Black Parade was really talking about. With, though you're broken and defeated, your weary widow marches on, will carry on. It's just something magical. It's a song that anytime it comes on shuffle, I gotta listen to it. As soon as I hit that G spot, gotta listen to the whole thing. And after this crazy, high energy, emotionally driven power ballad from My Chemical Romance, the show starts to die down a little bit, and then we start to get into some of the spooky stuff. So after Welcome to the Black Parade, there was a bit of audience interaction, if you will. Because I'm in Philadelphia, they brought out the Philly Fanatic and they were throwing cheesesteaks, so that was fun.
We got a new gig. And our fucking friend right here is gonna help us earn the big bucks. The Black Parade is now the official spokesman of the cheesesteak. Yes, just any old cheesesteak will do for the Black Parade. Spicy. And how are you all tonight? Are you having a great time? You're having a great time. All right, so let's kill some people. Oh wait, different thing. Okay, so when you came in, you all got this sign, and one side says chicken, the other says fish.
I did think that they were going to execute the Philly Fanatic because the next part of the show was the public execution, which I'm sure you guys have seen online, either clips or people talking about it.
Look at the sign. It says me, right? right now. These people over here, I don't even know what the fuck they did. But they're either guilty or they're not. Wait, well, guilty, but are we gonna kill them? That's how this works. I forgot. So, all those in favor of putting a bullet in these motherfuckers, let me see the yay. Alright. It's not bad at all. Now, all opposed to that action, let me see the nay. It looks close. I'm not sure. One more time now. Everybody at the same time, hold up the yay or the nay, whichever you believe. You gotta give the people what they want, and what they want is blood. Let's go, Philadelphia, roll! Ready? Aim! Fire!
Show. The public execution was done by firing squad, and if you'll when you go, you get this fun little card that says yay and nay, and I think it's a nice little cool collectible to get from the show. So this is your voting card. You use this card to vote on whether or not you want someone to die with public execution. Now you might be thinking, oh Kirk, ain't no way everyone's going to be like yay if they know that it's going to be a public execution. Well, truth of the matter is, whether you put yay or nay, it's not really going to matter. It's one of those things, commentary on dictatorships where it doesn't really matter what the people say at that point. If the people in power want somebody dead, they're dead. I was shocked. I was like, ooh, that was violent, wasn't it? So after the public execution, we get to another banger of a song, and this was I Don't Love You. Tonal whiplash, because you're kind of slowly building up, the end, and then you get to Dead, and then the Sharpest Lives, and then the Black Parade. Then you dip a little bit. I Don't Love You is my breakup song, and I think a lot of people have that as their breakup song as well. I think we can all think of a time where you have a breakup, somebody cheats on you, or maybe you leave a bad relationship, or somebody leaves you for whatever reason. And then you listen to that, and you listen to it over and over and over again. I was crying the whole freaking time, but like this in particular was one song that really, really got me. Welcome to the Black Parade did too, but this I Don't Love You just kind of resonates from many, 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 many times in my life. It's beautiful, it's sad, and it's painful. It's that pain of either losing someone or someone losing you, and the truth is you don't love someone the same as you did yesterday. And I think it's beautiful. I think it's a beautiful song. It's not easy to listen to all the time. Right, but it certainly strikes a lot of chords and a lot of core memories in my head. And at this point in the show, I was an absolute wreck. So after the emotional low that we get from I Don't Love You, we ramp it all the way back up with House of Wolves, one of my personal favorite songs about going to hell and burning in it. House of Wolves to me is like just fuck, it's chaos. It's chaos in the best way possible. And I think I want to burn in hell. Everybody burn a house right down and say what I want to say. Tell me I'm an angel. Take this to my grave. So much fun. So much freaking fun and high energy. Definitely, I think, maybe one of the more popular My Chemical Romance songs from the Black Parade because of how high energy and chaotic and in your face it is. It's a fantastic, fantastic song and gets you really, really pumped. And then, as soon as you get through this awesome, House of Wolves madness, you get to what I think is probably one of the saddest songs, in my humble opinion, Cancer.
If you could get me a drink of water, 'cause my lips are chapped.
I want to talk about cancer for a second. One of my family members currently has cancer, and it's bad. They're not in the state of like dying quite yet, but it's not pretty. I can tell you from firsthand experience that watching someone you love go through chemotherapy and literally wither away because they're so sick and so tired and not being able to eat and not being able to move and enjoy life and living, it's painful. It's a feeling that I can't accurately describe, but if someone who knows someone who has gone through cancer and either passed away or survived, you know what that's like. So listening to the song Cancer by My Chemical Romance turns me into a disgusting mess every time I listen to it. Even more so now that I'm a little bit older and, that pain of the hardest part is leaving you and turn away because I'm awful just to see. It's just like, it just rips my fucking heart out every time I listen to it. I'm not saying it's not good. It's amazing. And of course, in this version, live, it's incredible. Everything is incredible live for MCR. But Cancer is like that one song where it's like that's like the real sad
Mama, we all go to hell. I'm writing this letter and wishing you well. Mama, we all go to hell.
And in a very similar way to as Dead was someone, it was about someone who passed away that was a scumbag, Mama is to me another song about someone that has died and they have gone to hell. Possibly the same person from House of Wolves. I don't know. It's up to interpretation. Mama is a weird one. I like it. I like Mama, but it's a weird one. Mama, we all go to hell. What was neat, though, about this version is that this version of Mama, they added an extra verse. Yeah, they added an extra verse. And it's going to be important later, and I don't have a clip of it, but it's a verse singing about a knife trick, having a dagger and what you're going to do with it. And it's going to be important foreshadowing for later. But of course, for Mama, they bring out this woman to do the I wish you would call me your sweetheart, and maybe then sing you a song. And they bring out this woman in this elegant red dress as she's singing. Of course, I want to point out that throughout this entire show of playing the Black Parade, it's all in character, right? Like they're not My Chemical Romance. It's this band called the Black Parade. So there's so many theatrics and little notes and interactions. Like as an example, before Cancer, someone walks up to Gerard and gives him a letter, and he looks at the letter and rips it up, and they smack him down to the floor. This is all very subtle storytelling for what the overall arcing story of this presentation is. Like the theatrics are really unlike anything I've ever seen before. It's interesting. It's tragic. It's entertaining, and it gets you thinking about the songs in a bit of a different way. So Mama plays, and of course, it all hell breaks loose. It's chaotic, especially at the end. It's a segue into Sleep. I think a lot of people, or at least people that I know, might consider Sleep the weakest song on the Black Parade, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. I like Sleep because I actually used to have pretty severe night terrors. That song kind of hits a little extra for me. During the live show, they had this really cool stuff of like a nuclear weapon being launched, like out of Drog and being blasted over to elsewhere, and like, ooh, that's political and spooky. One of my favorite lines from Sleep is the second verse. A drink for the horror that I'm in, for the good guys and the bad guys, for the monsters that I've been, 3 tears for tyranny, unapologetic apathy. I love that line. Ooh, it gives me shivers every time I hear it. Sleep is another one that's just like crazy and chaotic, especially towards the end with like the screaming and everything. It's great. I love it. But, it's certainly an acquired taste, and I don't think Sleep is the kind of song for everybody, but hey man, if it hits, it hits. Then we transition to a song that I think everyone can relate to at any stage in their life, Teenagers.
Make a citizen out of you, because they sleep with a gun and keep an eye on your son, so they can watch all the shit you do. Because they drop them to work, they're gonna give you a smirk, 'cause they got nothing to give to you. They're gonna rip up your head, your respiration is red. I'd rather run in the paradise. They set out, teenagers scared, let the shit out of me.
Now what's cool about Teenagers is that they had this background of this, like, I don't know if it was like a show or like a guy, that was his name, but it was this thing that says Quizzo, and I'm like, hey look, it's Quizzo. I don't know, I just thought that was kind of funny. But Teenagers, what the fuck else can I say about Teenagers that hasn't already been said? When you're a teenager, you like the song Teenagers because it reminds you of you. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me. But as an adult, you listen to it and you're like, wow, teenagers really do scare the living shit out of me. It's a great fucking song. Great fucking song. One of the most iconic from the Black Parade. And seeing it, live and everyone chanting, teenagers scare the living shit out of me. It was just so much fun. And it was just so much fun to have that kind of energy. And of course, seeing the big crowd chanting and screaming with it. What a great song. What a great fucking song. The older I get, the truer it gets, and I find more and more people relate to Teenagers. It's just a masterpiece. Then we get down to the third sad song within the Black Parade, Disenchanted. Disenchanted is a special song to me. Sometimes I would use it as a breakup song, or just a song when I'm down in general. And it's another one of those songs that I didn't really appreciate till I was a little bit older, and at least out of high school. To me, it's a tragic song about, loss, losing people, losing friends, losing your innocence, being disenchanted, if you were. And it's just this tragic, beautiful song. And one thing I not to change the subject, but I love Gerard's way of singing. It's very unique and hard to replicate. It kind of sounds like wailing, like tragic wailing, if you know what I mean. And I think that's why it resonates so well with the dark subject matter of the songs. But especially with Disenchanted, ooh.
Ooh. Watch the lights on the screen. I hate the ending myself, but it started with an alright scene. Ooh. It was a roar of the crowd that gave me heartache to sing. It was a lie when they smiled and said you won't feel a thing.
what a beautiful song. I think we can all agree, you know, I spent my high school career spit on and shoved to a grease so I could watch all my heroes sell a car on TV. Bring out the old guillotine. We'll show them what we all mean. Oh, it's so good. And again, just the chorus of people. If I'm so wrong, can you listen all night long, night long? Yeah, will it matter after I'm gone? Because you never learn a goddamn thing. Oh.
If I'm so
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if you are familiar with the Black Parade, you know we're getting to the end. And the final song, Famous Last Words, well, not final song, but Famous Last Words, is a song to me that is, it's not just a song about, you know, losing or loss or dying or a breakup, but it's about defiance. It's about defiance in adversity. It's about defiance in a frustrated situation that you're in. It is a fucking another anthem. If Welcome to the Black Parade didn't exist, I think Famous Last Words would be the best song on the album, and maybe be like the be the generational anthem if Welcome to the Black Parade didn't exist. And what's awesome too with the special effects, right? Like they set the stage on fire, so like, you know, but like crazy good effects, like rows and rows of fire burning on the stage. Like it was impressive. They have gone balls to the wall in the production value of this, not just with what they're doing with like the, you know, the country of Drog and like the dictator and stuff, but everything else that they've been doing practical effects wise is incredible. So we go through Famous Last Words, and nothing makes my soul as happy as that part where I see you lying next to me with words I thought I'd never speak, awake and unafraid, asleep or dead. And then it goes into this scream and this chant of, I am not afraid to keep on living. I am not afraid to walk this world alone. How beautiful is that, right?
I am not afraid to keep on living. I am not afraid to walk this world. Nothing you can say that we forgiven. Nothing you can say to stop me going. Or time, 'cause I see you lying next to me. With words I thought I'd never speak. Awake.
I want you to think about it, right? Anytime that you've gone through breakup, death, loss, job loss, maybe your career isn't working out, maybe you've had something bad happen to you, and you get the fuck out of bed, right? You dust yourself off and you look in that goddamn mirror and you tell yourself, I am not afraid to keep on living. I am not afraid to walk this world alone. Honey, if you stay, you'll be forgiven. Nothing you can say can stop me going home. And just that defiant, fuck you, I'm gonna survive chant that you can say to yourself resonates so well. And again, especially in the times that we currently live in, I think a little bit of resilience and self-reliance and maybe a bit of defiance here, it can really go a long way. So needless to say, Famous Last Words was magic. So after this masterfully crafted song of Famous Last Words, if you're familiar with the album, you know, hey, are they gonna play Blood? Here's how that played out. They finish Famous Last Words, and they start to play The End again, because it's the end of the show. And what happens is this clown, this clown-looking guy, I'm gonna call him Fucko the Clown, is like dancing, and again, it's more acoustic this time. And shit goes crazy. Fucko the Clown stabs Gerard, and he's bleeding. And when I did not expect that, I was like, oh my god! So Gerard gets stabbed. These guards come in and they grab the band. They put bags over their head and they pull him off the stage. And my jaw dropped. I was like, my God! So then, after the assassination of Gerard and the band of the Black Parade is taken away for probably execution, Fucko the Clown performs Blood.
Well, they encourage your complete cooperation. Send your roses when they think you need the smile. I can't control myself because I don't know how. And they love me for it, honestly, I'll be here for a while. So give them blood, blood, gallons of the stuff. Give them all that they can drink and it will never be enough. So give them blood, blood, blood. Grab them, that's because there's going to be a flood.
I always felt that Blood was a song that was a little like cheeky, you know, because you have this amazing power ballad and then a goofy little song. They encourage your complete cooperation. It's like a goofy little song. And Fucko the Clown does that, and at the end, he opens his jacket and there's a suicide bomb vest. And he blows up. And when I tell you, the explosion on stage when Fucko the Clown blew himself up was ridiculously good. I was like, oh my God, so well done. But so essentially, that was the end of the Black Parade, because the band being, you know, a punk rock band, emo band, being political and telling people to, you know, don't be afraid, rise up, just carry on, stay together. They get assassinated by the state, and I was like, didn't expect the moment in the clip that I showed earlier with Gerard, right, you know, bleeding out, is I love how he's crawling over to the kill switch to cut the stream of them being killed, and he says, "We'll carry on." Boom, and he hits the kill switch. I was like, ooh, that was a badass moment. And that was the Black Parade in its entirety. It was amazing. It was passionate. It was sad. It was sweet. And the ending, while tragic, you know, kind of tracks with the whole, you know, Eastern European, low-key Russian themed, political, crazy dictatorship. But that's not where the show ends. So that part is kind of its own separate thing. After they've been killed off, the dictator, you know, gets up, they walk, they move the bodies, they clean up. And what was cool was that for the next like 10 to 15 minutes or so, a beautiful celloist was playing songs, kind of like an intermission, and more so to get the band members to change out of their clothes and makeup and stuff. But that was really, really pretty and very, very haunting. Like right after we see this execution and the suicide bomber, and we see the this celloist playing these tunes, it was really, really pretty. And then My Chemical Romance.
I know his folks are here tonight. And his brother's wife, there's all kinds of fun people here tonight. Thank you, Jeremy.
So the cheeky bit here is that after this whole thing happens, then My Chemical Romance comes out to play a bunch of songs. And I gotta say, it was still a lot of fun. You know, obviously, they've gone through the show, their performance is over, they are them themselves. Gerard walks over and says, "Hey guys, we're My Chemical Romance," because, you know, you can't help but laugh at the ridiculousness of it. But the remainder half of the show was them playing a bunch of songs from the other albums. One of my personal favorites that they actually did play from Danger Days was Destroya. Oh, I love me some Destroya. I don't believe in God. and he's screaming, "Destroyer, destroyer, destroyer." Ooh, it was so much fun. They did, of course, play na 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 na. That was a staple. They did go ahead and they did play "Give 'Em Hell, Kid," which is a really, really fun one. Bullets that I forget the names of because I'm not really big on the Bullets album. And they did play one song that I forget the name of that was from the B-sides of the Black Parade. Hey, quick editor's notes. I'm a complete baboon, and as I was going through the footage, I forgot to mention that they, of course, did play Foundations of Decay, which is a fantastic new single that they made that I really, really like. And they also played I'm Not Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the clips from those because I'm a fucking idiot and I forgot to talk about it in the video. But they did play I'm Not Okay and Foundations. Both those songs are absolutely phenomenal. I just didn't want the footage to go to waste. I want to use as much of the clips that I can from what I took from the show. So here's Foundations and Not Okay. Now, normally they would end with Helena, but for us, they actually didn't. So I guess to compensate, they didn't have a cover prepared, because what they had done at other shows is they would do a cover of a song that would relate to, that area, right? So for us, they didn't really have one for Philadelphia. Even Gerard even said, he was like, yeah, I couldn't think of anything, so we're not even going to bother. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But we got Helena, and I thought, oh, the show's going to be over. What a great closer. But they subverted my expectations once again, and they ended the show with Kids from Yesterday. And that's a song that I very, very much enjoy from Danger Days. I was hoping it would have been Summertime. I love Summertime from Danger Days, and some of the other shows they did perform it, but Kids from Yesterday, ooh, what a great song. I think that's a really great closer. They closed with it last time that I saw them, and it's beautiful. You only hear the music when your heart begins to break. I think there's a lot of them in Kids from Yesterday, and I think it helps that beautiful song resonate. And with that, after Kids from Yesterday, that was it. That was the Black Parade in its entirety, and others, for My Chemical Romance. And I'm floored. I'm absolutely floored on how incredible the experience was, how poignant the performance aspect of it was, the production value. I mean, everything what was perfection. Now, I know that the resale tickets at this point are ridiculous. If you can get tickets and you haven't already, this is a show to go ahead and see. This is a once-in-a-lifetime deal. I don't think we are ever going to get a show that is this powerful, this important to so many people from my generation with My Chemical Romance. And again, seeing the Black Parade front to back in its entirety is perfection. Let's go ahead and let's wrap up. We'll talk about some merchandise. Now there's some really good options here, but I got 2 shirts. So the first one here is the tour shirt featuring the Dictator and MCR in the language of Drog. Tour dates are on the back, and what's cool is on the inside of the shirt, everything is written in Drog, which is kind of cool. So, like, you know, the instructions on like how to wash and stuff are written in that language. So I think that's kind of neat. And I do like that one, but I also like this one as well. I actually got a long sleeve, which I very rarely do. But I got the Gerard, well, I guess the band's, the marching band outfit shirt. And what's neat, I didn't see this, but on the back it says here, "When I grow up, I want to be nothing at all," which is a line from The End. The merchandise is really cool. The lines were crazy. For us, they started selling merchandise at 10 in the morning. There are opportunities to get merch before the show, but there were also a lot of sellers inside. So I thought it was going to be a lot harder to go ahead and get stuff, but it was pretty straightforward, and it was pretty easy. So nothing to really go ahead and worry about there with that. That was Welcome to the Black Parade. The Long Live the Black Parade tour is unique. It is chilling. It is fun, and it's beautiful. I don't really know how else I can really say it, but every song, every single song, people screaming and laughing and crying, and I was a part of it too. You know, I mean, I was weeping my eyes out through various points in the show because it just hits those notes. You know, it resonates with you so well, and it's an experience that is unreal. It's unreal how they went above and beyond my expectations. And the only downside is that I genuinely don't think any other tour or any other group that I'm ever going to see is going to live up. Because the Black Parade is just such a special album to me. Might be my number one, maybe behind Demon Days from Gorillaz as like my all-time favorite albums, or maybe like American Idiot or Commit This to Memory from Motion City Soundtrack, stuff like that. But the Black Parade, it's just something special. And this tour is no exception. If you go ahead and get a chance to see it, do it. You will not regret it. I would be careful about bringing kids, though. It's a little not kid-friendly. It's a little hyper-violent with, like, the blood and stuff. So just I was like, ooh, that kind of caught me by surprise. But this is a fantastic show. And not just for My Chemical Romance, but for the emo music genre in general. This is once in a lifetime. And I'm very glad that I was able to experience it. And I hope you enjoyed me rambling about it for far too long. I'm going to start uploading just clips, like the music clips of shows that I've been to, just because it's taking up like data space, and I'm like, shit, I might as well upload, even if I don't use all the clips, I might as well upload them just so I was like, hey, here's the clips from the show I was at. But thank you all so very much for watching and taking this trip down memory lane with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one, and long live the Black Parade.